Live from WTVO Rockford and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
3 people are dead after a school shooting in St. Louis as police look for answers into why this happened.
Rockford firefighters have had a busy few days. Department leaders say many of the calls could have serious consequences because the fires were no accidents.
And tonight's Powerball jackpot's now over $600 million. How much you could take home after taxes. Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. 3 people are dead after a high school shooting in St. Louis.
It happened this morning at Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. Police say they stopped the shooter quickly. 1 adult, 1 girl, and the shooter are all dead. Police described the shooter as a man around 20 years old. At least 6 others suffered injuries, but their conditions were not released. Some of them were shot, others were hit by shrapnel.
The building has been searched, initially by responding officers, then by our SWAT team. The bomb dog did go through the building after that. The Force Investigation Unit will be conducting the investigation here. They now control the building. They're going to be conducting their search and doing interviews.
Police say right now they do not have a motive for the shooting. The suspect's identity has not been released.
A woman is dead after a hit and run in Freeport over the weekend. Officers were called to the parking lot of Fitness Lifestyles on Stevenson Street Saturday afternoon. They found 83-year-old Mary Lamb of Freeport hurt after a vehicle hit her. She died at FHN Memorial Hospital. The driver who left the scene has been identified. Officers are conducting an investigation. It's not clear if that person is in custody. If you know anything about the hit and run, call Freeport Police or State Line Area Crime Stoppers. The Rockford area has seen a lot of fires recently, some accidental, some intentional. Those set on purpose come with serious consequences for arsonists.
Amory Wilder sat down with a Rockford fire official to find out more. And Amory, you were told the city sometimes sees an uptick in arson cases?
That's right, Mimi and Eric. The division chief I spoke with says that's why fire safety efforts are so important. Having working smoke alarms and detectors and an evacuation plan is key in making sure your family is safe.
A bulk of our fires are related to cooking, and that is generally careless cooking.
Matthew Knott is a division chief with the Rockford Fire Department. He says a lot of accidental fires are preventable with more caution. But lately, the department has been responding to fires that have been set on purpose, according to Knott. Over the weekend, they got an early morning call of an apartment fire on Canary Drive.
Our crews initially found several small fires that were set throughout that building, and then also noticed another building across the way that had multiple small fires also. Initially, there were dispatched as 2 separate building fires, and so we quickly sent quite a few personnel.
RFD sent over 40 firefighters to the scene. Knott says once they assessed the situation, they were able to downsize crews and free up resources. A couple of days before that, there were 2 fires on East State Street. One was set outside the front door of Bethesda Covenant Church.
We take these incidents very, very seriously. We look at all the potential lives that were put at risk at these. Our investigators have been working on this diligently since those fires occurred. We do believe there are arson, and we are working to develop some suspects and take this ultimately to prosecution.
Knott says the charges associated with arson are Class X felonies.
Ultimately, we're very successful in prosecuting arsons, and we see no reason to, there's no reason at this point in time to not suspect we'll have a suspect in custody very quickly on the Canary Drive fires.
Knott tells me investigators have a suspect in custody awaiting trial in connection to the Bethesda church fire. They will be facing 2 counts of arson related to a place of worship. Anyone with information on any of these ongoing investigations is urged to call the fire department's non-emergency number or Crime Stoppers. Eric?
Thanks, Amory. Starting today, there are more places people can vote in Winnebago County. If you live in Rockford, you can head to Emmanuel Episcopal Church on Church Street. If you live in the county outside Rockford city limits, an additional early voting sites set up at Harlem Alpine Center in Loves Park. Early voting is still available at the main office of the Rockford Board of Elections on 6th Street or at the Winnebago County Clerk's office. You also can still vote by mail. Ballots must be postmarked by Tuesday, November 8th, Election Day. Polls open at 6 that morning and stay open until 7 that night.
The state's child care stabilization program got a big funding boost from the American Rescue Plan. Eyewitness News is keeping you connected to the Capitol. The program received more than $796 million. The White House says that money went to more than 7,000 child care programs in Illinois. They released the information during a Zoom call that included Governor Pritzker. Child care centers used the money to pay employees and stay open through the pandemic. That was especially important for one facility in Chicago, which had to shut down for 3 months.
The rescue funds allowed us to be able to provide a safe environment for the children that we care for.
Based on the White House's data, 98% of counties got the money. Overall, the funds have impacted more than 320,000 kids in Illinois.
A new report shows the impact of the COVID-19 lockdowns on education in the United States. 4th and 8th graders fell behind in reading and had the largest drop ever in math. Average math scores were 5 points lower for 4th graders since 2019 and 8 points lower for 8th graders. The findings are based on the National Assessment of Educational Progress in Reading and Math exams. Those are often called the nation's report card. It's the first national assessment of student achievement in 3 years.
The average price of gasoline has dropped in the Forest City. In the past week, prices have gone down 9 cents to an average of $4.14 a gallon. According to Gas Buddy, the cheapest station in Rockford is selling gas for $3.49, while the most expensive station selling gas for $4.39. The national average has also dropped to $3.77. However, the national average price of diesel has risen to $5.30 per gallon. Diesel prices are heading even higher in the Northeast as inventories drop to extremely tight levels ahead of the heating season. The jackpot for tonight's Powerball drawing is up to $625 million.
It's the 8th largest grand prize in Powerball history. The game's had 34 drawings in a row without a big winner. Saturday night's prize was worth an estimated $580 million. It's a roughly $280 million cash value. After taxes, tonight's jackpot has a cash option of more than $292 million.
The White House announced more efforts today to help eliminate breast and cervical cancer in the U.S. First Lady Dr. Jill Biden hosted 2 roundtables with the American Cancer Society and Mary J. Blige, a preventative cancer screening advocate.
Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports the goal is to cut cancer deaths in half over the next 3 decades.
Oh, God. Mary J. Blige choked up as she spoke to a crowd at the White House Monday about the family members she's lost to breast and cervical cancer.
They would have a different outcome today.
To save more lives, the singer joined the Biden administration's Cancer Moonshot initiative to highlight the importance of improving access to cancer screenings and prioritizing annual doctor visits.
Reminding people that their health is their wealth.
Survivors like Tamika Felder said the initiative will also make cancer care more equitable.
My legacy will not be the lives that I bring into this world, but it will be the lives that I save.
The American Cancer Society estimates 42,000 women in the U.S. die every year from breast cancer and about 4,000 more from cervical cancer. And black women die at the highest rate.
We're going to find the best way to help people get vaccines, screenings like mammograms and pap smears, and all of the care that they need, no matter their race, zip code, or background.
The Cancer Moonshot recently launched a study into a single blood test to screen against multiple cancers. It will also fund young scientists studying cancer treatments and cures with a focus on underrepresented groups.
To build a world where the word cancer forever loses its power.
The administration's ultimate goal is to cut cancer death rates in half in the next 25 years. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Now, your firstborn weather forecast from Chief Meteorologist Candace King.
I'd like to say a big thank you to Diana for sharing her fall picture with us as the fog. You can see a little bit of that over the river here. Beautiful fall picture, beautiful tree, a little sun kind of going through the leaves and the branches. Weather at WTVO.com is where you can share your fall photos. It was a great weekend to get out and enjoy. Probably have noticed quite a few more leaves down thanks to the strong winds we have had as of late, and that could play a little bit of a factor with some of the expected rainfall here later tonight and during the day tomorrow. We've got the cloud cover out there this evening, but eventually we will begin to see some of those rain showers move in by Tuesday. Rainfall totals look to be up over an inch in many locations. It's been over a month since we've had that much rain come down. So with all the leaves that are around, well, we're not expecting any flooding because of the rain because we've been so dry. Just know that some storm drains and maybe even your gutters with that amount of rainfall could cause some issues. So make sure things are clear here before that rain does move in. Rain showers off to the west of the Mississippi River, tied into a cold front, which will, yes, unfortunately bring an end to the 70 and 80 degree warmth we've had over the last couple of days. There have been a few embedded lightning strikes, so a couple rumbles of thunder tied into that, but no severe weather is expected. Next couple of hours, we are going to be dry, but about 9-10 o'clock, we'll start to see some of those showers begin to move in from the west. These will have some dry air to overcome, so it may be just a little while before we see that rain, but I do anticipate between about a 10 and 12 o'clock tonight, some lighter rain showers moving through. We'll start to see that pick up a little more in intensity during the morning on Tuesday, and then throughout much of the afternoon. Expected to be a rainy day tomorrow, kind of on and off rain showers with a few heavier pockets of rainfall coming in during the afternoon and early evening. So an indoor activity day tomorrow, and it will be cooler too. That cold front slowly works through southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, so that keeps that moisture coming right into the state line, and that's where we get some of that steady rainfall coming down. As I mentioned, not concerned with any flooding issues, only because it's a long duration rain event that'll likely carry over into tomorrow evening, but high pressure is set to move in, so that will help kind of dry us out a bit. Winds then turn from the northwest. A little breezy for our Wednesday. Temperatures, though, back down into the 50s. Not a big drop in our numbers, pretty close to where we should be, but kind of a shock compared to some of the 70s and the 80 degree warmth we've had here over the last couple of days. I mentioned those rainfall totals, an inch in many spots. Some areas to the south could end up to maybe an inch and a half of rainfall. So a decent soaking rain coming down, but again, could cause some issues just with some of those leaves on the ground. Winds are pretty gusty here, straight from the south. That's keeping our temperatures in the low to mid 70s. But look at the difference in numbers. You can tell where that cold front sits just off to the west. So as that front comes through during the day tomorrow, it is going to drop those temperatures down. Tonight we are down to 55. We don't warm up much. In fact, we stay pretty close to that for tomorrow afternoon. And then throughout the day, temperatures will drop somewhat down into the 40s. We keep those 50s, but we dry out through the week. Right now, Halloween could see a couple of very light showers during the day, but I don't think it'll be anything significant to ruin any of those trick-or-treat plans.
Now sports with sports director Scott Leber.
Well, the Bears will try to end their 3-game losing streak tonight in New England. Justin Fields against a Bill Belichick defense does not sound like a good matchup for the Bears. The Bears' young QB will see a lot of different looks from the Patriots defense and a lot of blitzes. He was sacked 5 times last week against the Commanders, and he was hit 12 times. Fields says his job is to just keep improving.
Just like I always say, I got to get better at everything. I haven't reached, my full potential in every, in any aspect of the game of quarterback play. So, just continue to get better.
Tonight's game will be shown on ESPN. Well, if the Packers weren't pushing the panic button before, they're probably considering it now. Their loss to the Commanders yesterday has them sitting in 3-4, and now Allen Lazard and Rashawn Gary are banged up. Lazard has a shoulder injury. Gary is in concussion protocol. And the Packers' next opponent is probably the best team in the NFL right now, the Bills.
Our guys are extremely disappointed. I don't think anybody thought we'd be in the spot that we're in right now. And we're going to find out what we're made of.
Well, take a look at this video clip shot by a reporter in Charlotte. The NFL is looking at it, and appears two NFL officials are asking Buccaneers receiver Mike Adams for his autograph, Mike Evans, I should say, right after the Bucs game against the Panthers yesterday. Officials are not allowed to ask for autographs or memorabilia from any players or anyone within any NFL organization. That rule's in place so officials are not tempted to play favorites when they're making calls on the field. The officials could face punishment. Well, it was a bumpy first week for the Bulls. Now they have to face the Celtics tonight at the United Center. Celtics have picked up where they left off last season when they reached the NBA Finals. They're 3-0. The Bulls have dropped their last two games, and they were blown out in Cleveland Saturday night. Well, the baseball playoffs will be quiet most of this week. The first game of the World Series won't be until Friday night. The Astros and the Phillies are in. The Astros are 7-0 so far in the playoffs. The Phillies are 9-2. You'll be able to see Game 1 Friday night and all the World Series games on Fox 39.
Our first Warren Interactive Radar, brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More, gets a little more active here tonight as we've got some showers, a few isolated thunderstorms, but mostly rain coming down here. Between about 8 and 10 o'clock, we'll see some of those showers move in from the west. A steady and at times heavy rain through the afternoon tomorrow. Kind of an all-day event with that rain moving through, and it will be cooler too. Cold front working in brings those temperatures into the 50s, and actually right about where we should be for this time of year. Rainfall amounts when all said and done up over an inch, drying out though Wednesday, and then warming back to the 60s for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Candace.
And thank you for spending some time with us. Stay safe.